Welcome everybody to Panfish Nation. Along with Mark, I'm Lyle, and Mark, we got a great guest tonight. But first, before we get started, there's been some lies told on the previous show, and there's a very, pardon me.
When will they learn?
It's very easy to tell if those two are fibbing or telling stories. You got to look real close to see if their lips move. If they're moving, there ain't no truth coming out of there. Just so everybody knows. Welcome, Jerry. How you doing? Hello?
Jerry, can you hear us, bud?
Can you hear me, Jerry?
I think Jerry's having some hard times here, and Lyle, let's see if he can figure it out. Jerry, you got your ears on? Can you hear us? He was just fine a second ago.
Yeah, he was.
The miracle of the internet.
I don't know what happened.
What year is it? It's 2021, right, Lyle? Weren't we supposed
sir.
to have like flying cars and stuff? Shouldn't we be able to have a talk show on the internet?
You would think so.
You would, really would. Maybe while he figures it out, hopefully he'll get it. Maybe we should start saying hello to the people in chat.
Let's do that.
I'll go ahead and start. How's that?
That works.
I see two old vets in the house. What's going on, my man? Two stands fishing. A couple crosses. Hi, Betty. How are you? Avid fisherman. Brian B. Catfishing. Christina Dunnigan. What's going on, Christina? Did he move the boat is the real question. Yeah, Chad Nolte, one of the finer names in fishing. That just sounds like a fishing name, doesn't it? Almost as good as Babe Winkleman. Not quite, but Chad Nolte's a good fishing name. Christina, we said hello. Country Boy Catfishing, the great Eric Macy Jig Company. He had a video this week where he showed his operation a little bit. Did you see that, Lyle?
Yes, I did, and it was very good.
Maybe Jerry can disconnect and reconnect.
That's what I'm getting ready to tell him. Well, I don't have to. Maybe he'd already done it.
He did something.
Have you got us now?
We'll let him mess around. I'll keep reading off names. The great Miss Cindy Stokes. Hello again, Country Boy Catfishing. Ernie Brown. What's up, Ernie? Fins and Finds. Hey, Bob, fishing with Squirrel. What's going on, Squirrel? We have Georgia Fisherman. Hooked on D Fishing. What's up, D? How are you, dear? Hooks and Hammocks. Hey, Chris. James Borden. What's going on, James? Jason Lamb. Jeremy Bay. John Patrick Jr., John Boy's Catfishing, Laura Ann, also known as Laura the Explorer, Mad Catter Catfishing, the great Maurice Kaysen, Mike Costello Outdoors, Mo Creek Fishing, what's going on, Rob, Palmetto Cats, hey, Kevin, Papaw Ed, Setting Hooks and Crossing Eyes, what's going on, Ryan? Looks like our boys are doing pretty good down there in Alabama at the Sea Arc Invitational in Alabama. I've been checking out the pictures. They're doing real well. Sogo's in the house. Stephen Corley. Team Cross Fishing. What's going on, Brandon? Want to be outdoors. What's going on, Matt? Let's see if I missed anybody, Lyle. If I did, I apologize. I'm scanning through the names real quick again.
Did you get Georgia Fisherman and Buckeye?
Buckeye Catfish. Is Buckeye in there?
Mike Costello.
I see Buckeye. There he is. Catfish Fever and Outdoors. What's up, Lynn?
There's Becca.
Hi, Becca. How are you doing? Let's see who else. I think I got everybody. I imagine James Dockery's listening, so I want to say hello to Katie.
Yeah, not necessarily James.
No, not necessarily.
Well, we'll wait and see if Jerry can get things figured out. I sent him a couple of messages and told him to try to click out and come back in. We'll see if that.
Cool. It was working perfect before, so
before the show started. It worked absolutely fabulous, and we'll see if we can get him going back in. Mark, great video on change the oil on your boat motor today. That was really good.
I'm just trying to help a little bit with videos like that in the community. You know, some people are going to be searching on that kind of stuff. I figured it'd be cool for them to actually check out my channel while looking for that stuff. It's
absolutely,
if you're a YouTube creator, man, all those how-to videos and stuff, not only are they a good bet to get some,
they mean a lot.
Traffic. They mean a lot to people. You know, it adds value to your channel and it really helps your reputation out. So hopefully people will learn from that and continue on.
Jerry, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
And I can hear you. Hey, you know, I don't know how you got started. Maybe you'll tell us a little bit about your fishing experiences, how you grew up and got into fishing and the YouTube and stuff. But man, I really enjoyed your last video where you guys walked down and got on a creek and you caught the fire out of fish and a whole bunch of different species. It was very well done, and I really enjoyed that. It kind of took me back to the days when we would ride bicycles to some place and fish all day and then ride them home, and that's kind of something that kids these days don't really do, I don't think.
Does that mean you're ready to get in a kayak, Kyle? I mean,
No.
Lyle?
No,
No?
it
Okay,
does not.
checking. That video did make me sad that I got rid of mine, Jerry. Very well done. Lyle's absolutely right.
Well, guys, I was fortunate. My parents, when I was younger, we had a creek lot on Apple Creek. And pretty much from the time it was early spring until winter, we were there every weekend. And that's where I cut my teeth, is on creek fishing. And that's, to this day, it's still my absolute favorite. Because, like I said, you don't know what you're going to catch. And you got every kind of species. And my dad was a big, big part of, why I loved creek fish. Because he would grab me and take me down. And even whenever, like, growing up, they worked a lot. They would drop me off at the creek in the morning, and they would pick me up when they would way back home from work. So that's pretty much what I did in my free time.
Well, it shows, because that was, like I say, that was one of the better videos that I've seen in a while. I would like to welcome Jim Catman Clark into our show tonight.
What's going on, Jim? How are you doing, sir?
But yeah, I don't know. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in the video part end of things?
Well, my wife and my two lovely daughters actually, and one of my nephew Jeremy, he does a lot of my editing, almost all my editing now. And they kept pushing to, man, you need to do YouTube. You need to try to do something with that. And so, and I'm not the most tech savvy guy in the world. I'll be the first to admit. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot, and that kind of snowballed, and I'm having a blast with it. And some of the people I'm getting to meet, that's the one thing. Like the whole catfish community and everything, it's just mind blowing to do togetherness all these people have. So it's just one of the things I'm looking forward to going to Mendota here shortly and meet a lot of you guys and fish with you guys. So,
well, that's going to be an exciting trip, and I think we'll all have a great time up there.
I think it's going to be exciting in more ways than one, especially after the show before this one.
Oh man, you gotta love him too.
So, Jerry, you and Mo are bringing your kayaks to Mendota, right?
Yes, we are. And we have been looking at avionics quite a bit, trying to get a lake figured out and watching every YouTube video we can get our hands on about Mendota, just kind of learn the lake. I know we're going up there for catfish, but Mo had actually sent me a link the other day about the northern pike fishing. It's supposed to be phenomenal up there. So, I mean, I wouldn't have no arguments about hooking a big northern while I'm up there.
That's an incredible body of water up there. There's a lot of big fish. There's a huge smallmouth population, a massive perch population.
That's what I'm interested in.
Yep, there's northern pike, and obviously the huge monster channel cat. So, I mean, take your pick. There's lots of crappie, tons of panfish. I mean, there's numerous panfish guides on Mendota itself. So if you're really looking into some pretty decent action for any of those species, you can't go wrong up there. So I'm going to split up my time a little bit. I'm definitely going to chase, obviously I need to beat that PB channel cat, but I'm going to chase a lot of panfish too while I'm up there. So
the perch deal, we don't have perch like that in my particular area. So it's a crying shame that we missed being able to keep one to eat, because I wanted to try one. I hear they're such good table fare, but the season's over for them, but we can still catch and release. But those big perch, man, they look amazing.
They taste really good.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
what
what
I
else to say. What's
Yeah.
going, Ryan? I see Ryan in there from setting hooks and crossing eyes. I was talking to him a little bit about the perch in there. Unfortunately, we're going to be there while the perch season is closed. They close it down for so they can go through their spawn untouched, which is probably why it's such a great fishery over there.
I'm guessing so. I mean, that's why that's the catfish and everything else. Everything that's in that lake is like that. So we don't want to do anything to change that. We want it to stay the way it is. So
Well, the odd thing about, well, I guess if you're fishing the Great Lakes, it's not so odd, but things that I wouldn't be used to fishing for perch on that lake is they're catching them in 60 to 80 feet of water.
wow.
So even knowing what kind of tactics to use to go after them, my friend Howard over at Chamblers sent me a couple of jigging spoons for a crappie that I think would probably work pretty good in that area. I think they're quarter ounce, so I might be able to get them down there if I'm willing to wait.
You know what? Before we get too carried away here, our channel is growing really well right now. We appreciate all the likes and shares, but please continue to do that and subscribe because we need to get this up here by the end of the year. The goal was to make it 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're well on our way. In 3 months or just over 3 months, we're at 340 something or other. So or 320 or whatever it is. But
326 subscribers as of right now. Let's see if we can't try to get that up to 340 by the end of the week, Lyle. I think
that'd be really great. And we're going to be doing some other stuff and giving away a bunch of jigs and stuff. And if everything goes right, for those of you that keep wanting to know why we're not on Saturday nice time jigs, the plan right now is to try to do that Saturday evening if we can. So and then we'll be giving those away, and we've got last week's video of fly tying or jig tying, and we're going to be giving those away. I'll load those all up and pick out a winner from them, and then we got another video coming up this week. So please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, I plan on tying whatever jigs I'm doing. I'm going to try and do 6 of each, and I'll give a pair away of however many I do. So to some winner as well. I'll be happy to donate to the cause.
I did get a message, Jerry. A gentleman sent me a private message on Facebook and says, make sure to ask him about finding an anti-chicken decal on his truck.
Yeah, that would be Mo Creek, but I'm pretty sure Dockery put him up to that. So
well, was it Mo Creek that sent the message? It wasn't Mo Creek that sent the message.
Really?
No, sir.
It has to be Dockery then.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Somebody put something on your truck?
Yeah, right on my headlight.
What kind of?
On the headlight?
Yeah, it was in Tennessee a few weeks back, and come out of the hotel one morning. I looked down. I'm like, "What is this?" And of course, first person I called Mo, and he.
Oh, you were all the way in Tennessee, huh? So how long has that sticker been on your truck?
I'm guessing for at least a couple of weeks. At least a couple of weeks.
Good to have friends, ain't it?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, real quick, Jerry. I was watching one of your videos. I was looking for some information as to help me create the thumbnail for the show last night. And I came across one where you were fishing at it looked like a dam with an iron bridge over it.
Yes, that is Apple Creek. That's actually the creek where I cut my teeth fishing. That is an amazing fishery. I'm going to actually be doing a video here in a couple weeks, me and a friend, and we're going to, in that same body of water fish, we're going to be going after catfish.
Nice. That was like the most scenic / serene fishing spot, I think. The only one that might even give it some competition is the one that Betty knows of, and it's the same kind of thing with some right at the bottom of some falls about the same size, but it was a pretty incredible place. So what kind of fish do they have in that area?
In that particular creek, you got your channel cat, your flathead, you got walleye, white bass, smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, bluegill, warmouth, goggle eye, and drum, and pretty much all your carp species.
Goggle eye, huh? Those are good. That's good catfish bait, isn't it, Lyle?
Yes, it is.
And are those hook and line fair, or is that a cast net kind of fish?
That is a big no-no in Missouri.
That's
Can't
right.
use a goggle eye.
Oh, you can't use a goggle eye. See,
No,
it's
you
good that I
cannot.
ask.
Yeah. I wish we
Don't mean
could.
they're not a good bait. You just can't use them.
Use them. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lyle, do you see who joined us in chat? I see Gabby Goose in chat.
I
How are
did
you,
too.
Gabby?
I just noticed that, and we're so happy to have her in here because there is a couple of other things that's been mentioned in chat that maybe he's not found all the stickers yet, and that it was actually on there for I seen it just a second ago, like 3 weeks and 4 days or something.
Well, it's one of these little clear stickers, and he had it just off the side of the headlight, and the sunlight caught it just right, and I seen it, and I was like, so I guess somebody's gone and look at all my vehicles now.
Well, I don't know who did it, but I know who didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I know who did it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. Hey, Chrissy Brown's in here and Ernie tonight. Glad to
Hello
have
to the
them.
Browns. Sunfish Assassin looks like he just came in. What's going on, buddy?
It's funny at Mo Creek Fishing, and he has the only found the one. That was from James Dockery. So, yeah, I have a feeling something's going on that you're not aware of.
Oh, like I said, I've got something special planned for Dockery. So.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it makes two of us.
That's right. That's right. I think that what we should do is get everybody together and go to a special restaurant and make sure he has to go.
I think so.
Yeah. You know which one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does it start with a C?
It does.
Is it a place that his wife adores?
It is.
A place that he refuses to express his undying love for his wife by
That
not
is
taking
correct.
her?
That is correct. Yes. There's Sunfish Assassin. Made it into the show tonight. Glad to have you. Hooks and Hammocks. There is Get Hooked on D Fishing.
We've been trying to get a trip together with Hooks and Hammocks, but our work schedule's not working out and everything. So me and Rob are going to hope to get him down here in July. We're hoping to get him over at Baldwin Lake to do some drift fishing with Blue Cat.
That'd be great. He'll have a great time with that. We have a message from Betty at A Couple Crosses Fishing that I'm going to work on food next, Lyle. Cheddar's is already on the list.
That Betty is a fine human being.
She is. She's outstanding.
So, you had mentioned your busy work schedule, and that kind of brought something to mind that, when my work schedule is real busy, which it has been, panfish is kind of the way to go. There's nothing to say you can't grab, a bait rod or your ultralight and head out and fish. So, if anybody out there is doing the same kind of stuff, it's all the reason to go out and get a little pan fishing done. So how far from home you got to travel to get into some good crappie, Jerry?
Maybe 5 minutes.
5. Oh, see,
I've got a farm pond up the road. I can go just, if I get off work, I can run up there. And that particular farm pond, I've been fishing for years. And I've caught them up to 2.5 pounds out there. And I've got a local lake here in town. It's full of crappie, but the size is not that great. But then I can cross the river. It only takes me like 15 minutes to cross the river into Illinois. And I've got Kincaid Lake, I've got Wren, I've got Carlisle, I've got Crab Orchard. And Kincaid is an amazing, amazing crappie fishery. So
I really need to make it down there. Maybe I can meet up with you and Rob down there. We can go put some hurting on some crappies because it's world-class crappie land down there.
Oh, it is. It is. And I did a video earlier last year, and my average I was catching, and it was post spawn too, was between 12 and 14 inches.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's an exceptional. Like I think just maybe last year somebody caught like a 4.5 pounder.
Man, that's a giant.
Somebody just here at the chain just picked up an 18-incher. They were showing pictures of it on Facebook today. They didn't say what it weighed, but I have no idea what an 18-inch crappie would weigh. It wasn't in full spawn yet, so I doubt. I think it was a female, but she didn't look like she had eggs. So I'm curious as to how much that sucker weighs. I'd like to go find out for myself though. And this weekend I definitely have plans to do so. Tomorrow I might go out and chase some daytime flatheads, see if they're starting up yet. I don't think they are. The weather's been kind of down, but that doesn't mean I can't go after some.
Did you get hit with all that snow, Mark?
We didn't get any of the snow. That was saved for all my great friends like James Dockery and Chad. They got all the snow.
I was up in Lyle's neck of the woods up there in Springfield, and it came down for a few hours. Like it was just getting like all get out.
It was getting it on. Yeah, we don't need it. I'm pretty sure we had about enough. It's May, or nearly May, and the snow should be over, except in Dockeryville.
Yeah.
He can have it year round.
That's karma snow.
That's correct.
But Uncle Lou says he found some big ones the first time ever. So congratulations to Uncle Lou. And Matt over at Want to Be Outdoors, he was asking, whereabouts do you live and fish at, Jerry?
I live in southeast Missouri. I'm actually about 70 miles south of St. Louis on 55 in St. John County, the St. John Perry County line. I fish a lot of the creeks in this area. I have probably within 20 minutes of the house, I have 4 really good creeks, and 3 of them are like your classic Ozark streams with a clear gravel bottom, crystal clear water. And then I've got a few smaller lakes on the Missouri side, but I actually hit Illinois quite a bit. I have Peabody Conservation Area and Pyramid State Park, and both excellent fisheries. I spent a lot of time at Kincaid and Wren Lake. I spent quite a bit of time in those bodies of water.
Which one of those is your favorite, at least on Illinois side, if I may ask, so I can get a direction on where to go?
Well, if you're going after crappie, Kincaid, 100%. But if you're going after like bass and everything, I actually like going to Peabody. There's some strip pits over there because an old bunch of strip pits that the state of Illinois have reclaimed, and the fishing's excellent. I mean, just outstanding in there.
Have you ever fished Lake of Egypt?
Yes, I have. It's an excellent lake. But it was usually they run 2 to 3 units over there in a power plant. Well, this past winter they dropped it down to only 1 unit because they're actually getting ready to shut that power plant down in a few years. So the wintertime fishing was not near as good as it normally is, but it's a phenomenal crappie lake as well.
So when they shut those down, are they going to keep running it from time to time or no?
They will use those power plants as a standby, like just as a relay system. The other power plants, they're like Baldwin Power Plant, matter of fact, where I like to fish, in 2025, they're going to be shutting it down. And that would basically be just a massive switch yard, which will they'll just relay power. And the one thing about these lakes, these power plant lakes like Pyreton, Baldwin, once the power plants shut down, it's going to change the whole dynamic of the lake. It's going to be a totally different fishery within just a matter of a few years.
Now, do they stock with wipers in there like they do a lot of the power plant lakes here in Illinois?
Well, Baldwin used to be the number one hybrid striper fishery in Illinois. But I think in 2010, they had a problem in the power plant, and the lake superheated and massive fish kill. And it wiped out almost all the hybrids except for a few. And they haven't restocked yet. But they were talking about doing it this past year. But the pandemic hit, and I guess that kind of pushed their plans back. And I wish they would, because it would be a phenomenal fishery. Because that thing, the amount of bait fish and ball power plant, like it's unbelievable.
We have a comment from Betty. Says, Jerry, you're a multi-species fisherman, but if you could only target one species for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Well, I toss up between a big blue cat or a flathead. I'm probably gonna have to go with blue cat because a flathead, you don't catch as many of them, but they are definitely the coolest species. But I would say the big blue cat, just for the fight, and just I like hunting them big blues, and I love one of my happy place is sitting out in the river, Mississippi River. That's my happy place.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Becca says crappie fishing is definitely a passion, trying to catch the big cats, but crappie will always be her first love. And there's a lot of people that feel that way, Becca. I'm telling you, there really is.
There's that glory fishing, going after those big blues and big flathead, and they take a lot of work, and it's
That's
cool
right.
when it comes together. But there's something about when you land on a school of like big keeper crappies, and you get that limit, and you're at home breading them up and sitting down with your family and stuff. They're two totally different experiences.
It really is.
My very next video, matter of fact, is a kind of a catch and cook I got some morel mushrooms I found, and I stopped at a pond, caught some big crappie, went home and did a little video, a little catch and cook video. That's going to be one of my next videos coming out.
Good. James Borden says, how do we get an autograph from Jerry?
Well, James, you get one all the time when I sign that timesheet in the morning.
I saw Miss Paula Smith come in, and I see Kelly from the Bullock Experience who came in too. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Glad to have everybody in tonight.
I take it he's a gentleman you work with, maybe?
Yes, he's gotten hardcore into the catfish, and he's been watching the videos, and I don't even want to know that man has spent in the last couple months on bait casters and rods, reels, getting set up. And James, I promise I'm gonna take you out. He's been on me hardcore. He wants me to take him river fishing, and I plan on doing it. So
heck yeah. Evan says you guys need to get together and go fish sometime.
Yeah, I think me, him, and Rob need to get together sometime and do some fishing.
That would be interesting. I'm thinking that Rob might be pretty interesting anyhow.
No comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But I've seen some of David's video where he's fishing the Kaskasky River, and that's actually what feeds ball and power plant. And I'm gonna get on the Kaskasky this year and try to learn that body of water a little bit. It's supposed to be an outstanding channel cat and flathead fishery, so
that'd be fun. That would be fun.
So do you have so you pretty much are a bank fisherman, or you fish out of your kayak, right, Jerry?
Yes, eventually, once I get some stuff taken care of, I will get a boat. Mm-hmm. And once I get a boat, probably going to change my dynamics of my fishing a little. I'll fishing quite a bit because I'll be hitting the Mississippi River more. Because right now, the river's been flooding up and down, and I really can't get to a lot of my bank fishing spots right now, and it's just been killing me. So,
yeah. And when it's that high, even a kayak's a little sketchy, right?
Yes, right now it's real sketchy. I have no problem getting out there and doing low water stage, but not right now. Yeah, it's just way too much drift and everything else right now. It's ripping right now.
So what are you using for what are you using? We'll start with crappie and work our way down. What are you using when you're, as far as gear and baits? And are you a bait fisherman? Do you like using plastics, hand ties? What is it you like?
I love marabou jigs, but a lot of the tackle shops in this particular area don't carry a very good section. So mostly I throw plastics, and I actually got a handful of them right here, right there Black and chartreuse is probably one of my go-to colors in stain water. And a little white chartreuse right there is probably my number 2. I've got a ton of colors in my box, and that's usually the 2 colors I keep going back to. Or else, let's see here. If you guys can see that little chartreuse and blue.
That's another good one.
And I'll usually take a little 1/32 ounce dig head and put underneath the peg float, especially if I'm going into a newer body water. I'll put that on, just experiment with the depths, and just keep working. And if I'm casting, I'll switch up to the 1/16 ounce head, like my no cork, if I'm trying to figure out a body water. Like right now, the peg float and a little 1/36 ounce jig, you're going to kill them because them crappie moving on the banks right now, and you just absolutely kill them. So,
do you ever just cast to them without a cork?
Quite a bit, especially in the summer months. And the tricky part is, just trying to count down 1, 2, 3, and just kind of hold that magic level,
Mm-hmm.
And like Egypt, for instance, you need a roadrunner over there and kill them on a roadrunner.
Yeah, never underestimate the good old Walmart roadrunners. I mean, they do really well. And those colors you picked, they're pretty good. You're pretty much matching the hatch. Dark water, I've like a feeling where, as long as the silhouette matches and they have a hard time seeing it, they're going to hit it just in case they miss something. So I think that works out pretty well. So when you're going for like that red ear sunfish that's in the thumbnail for the show, tell us about where you caught that and how you got that one.
That one particular fish was caught in Barkley Lake.
Or was that a shell cracker?
That was a shellcracker.
Shellcracker, my bad. Forgive me.
And usually when I'm looking for them big guys, we used to do a family trip all the time, usually in June, and there's still a few fish left on the beds. But if you go down there in May and look for them bays with that little pea gravel, and I'll just take a little wire hook and some night crawlers with a red wiggler, and just a tiny, tiny piece of BB shot, and just kind of fan cast. And usually you'll find your bluegill in that particular lake. You'll be real shallow and just start backing out into the deeper water. And that's where you usually find your red ear on the back end of it. So, and then in the summer months, we have a local lake here in town, Perry County Lake. There's a bunch of standing wooden timber. And I'll throw a red wiggler right against a no weight on 2-pound test and just let it sink real slow. Because sometimes you can actually hear them red ear hitting them log, picking the snails off the logs every once in a while. So
that's interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah, because every once in a while you can hear it on, if you're close right on top of the log, you can hear it sometime. And then they'll pop them logs, just picking them shell because they're full of little snails in there, and you'll gut them, and your guts will just be full of them snails.
Wow.
We had John Jeffcoat on here, and he was in his part. He's in Virginia, right? Please forgive me if I'm wrong, John, and you're listening out there. I think he's on the East Coast there, out near the Wiley area or whatever. And him and his family, they get them they've caught up to 4-pounders, and they say they'll rattle. They're so full of snails and mussels and stuff. So
they're giants out there, man.
Definitely something I'd like to encounter.
I couldn't imagine catching a 4-pound red ear.
Oh, they fight hard.
We have Mindy Hogan with Uncle Lou in the house. What's going on, Mindy or Uncle Lou? How are you?
Steve.
That name's direct and to the point, ain't it?
It is. There's TX Tiger.
So you do a lot of. I'm hoping, Jerry, that you use natural and live and cut baits for catfishing. Am I mistaken in thinking so, or?
Hey, I'm not opposed to using chicken once in a while.
We're not going to talk about that here. It's for another show.
And
I just want to know how you go about catching your bait and what you use.
Okay,
a shopping cart in Walmart don't count.
Oh, here we go.
I have a bunch of bottom ground nearby me, that has a lot of drainage ditches with culverts, and I'll take a throw net and usually use a throw net around them culverts, and usually come up with a lot of buffalo, carp. And that's one thing about Missouri they changed last year. You can no longer use live buffalo or carp in the state of Missouri. But it's going to legislation where they're trying to change that. You can use a cut or whatnot, but they don't allow you to use live carp and buffalo, which hurts my flathead fishing.
Yes.
So I actually fish on the Illinois side a lot more now because of that. So,
Well, I don't think
it is
still, is Buffalo a problem in Missouri, guys?
no, I mean the buffalo and the common carp have been here for, oh my gosh, forever.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the black carp and the Eastern carp and the silver carp, they're just all carp in the carp sucker family. They just lumped them all into one group, and kind of the reason, I guess.
Yeah. And there is no shortage of them.
No.
There is no shortage of them.
Well, I know there's conservation efforts for what is it, big mouth buffalo and a couple other of the buffalo breeds up north. I want to say Minnesota, where they're learning through shocking and actually analyzing the fish that a 10 to 15 pound buffalo can be near 100 or 80 to 100 years old, which is why their numbers are diminishing up there. So think twice before you kill a buffalo for no reason, and maybe look into the laws a little closer to see. I'm not talking to you, Jerry. I'm talking about the people in chat.
Now there's no restrictions on buffalo in Illinois. Is that correct?
I believe there is not. They're not considered a game fish, but they're not sought after.
No,
I do think there's
a great table fare too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's an effort being moved forward, at least a social effort to keep bow fishermen from simply targeting them, though. So that's being discouraged in the state, which has had a pretty good effect on them. But that they're so old that the problem is they don't reproduce until they're well into their teens, maybe even 20s, I think is what I read. It's been a while since I read that article. I'll if anybody has any questions about that, I'll be happy to pass that article to them. Just contact me on my webpage.
I do find that a little strange that they would want to make that illegal to bowfish them, yet they made it legal to do catfish.
They're not trying to make it illegal. I'm saying there's people out there trying to stop both efforts.
I think that bow fishing should be regulated, and the only thing should be trash fish, big heads, gar, Asian carp of all kind, common carp, and that would include buffalo. I hate to say that, but buffalo is a pure white meat, and they're very, very much sought after table fare. But if you're going to make some of them legal, you kind of got to go with.
Definitely, they just made catfishing legal in the last couple of years to bow fish here.
I remember,
and there's nothing, and just to be clear, there's nothing in the legislature to make buffalo illegal. When I say that, I'm talking about there's efforts within the fishing community.
I'm glad to see people going after that. It's just there's things that they should do and things they shouldn't.
Well, the one thing I do a lot of bow fishing myself, but the thing that pisses me off is when I come to a boat ramp and there was a pile of dead buffalo carp just laying there left.
Yep, they just throw them out.
There's no reason for that.
No, there is no reason for that. Because
there's enough needy families out there would take that. And like I said, the buffalo, they're excellent table fare.
They are.
So
I know people that would have fish fries and choose buffalo over catfish.
I would really like to try one. I've never tried one. I'd like to try those buffalo ribs that they talk about down in Louisiana all the time. That really sounds good.
They're just like common carp. They're okay to eat. The thing is, you have to have somebody that scores them, and by scoring them, I mean cutting through the bones to where they'll fry up when you're cooking them. You get somebody that knows how to do that. Pardon me?
Or be used to eating fish with bones in it. A lot of my family,
Right.
still to this day, bones don't bother them, and they get pretty good at eating around them.
Right. But you can cut them up and they'll just cook
Melt
up.
away.
Well, if you grind them things up and make a patty, I'm like salmon patty.
Mm-hmm.
That's because
My mom makes those, by the way.
Woods, you have a lot of red horse suckers.
Right.
And a lot of the Gasconade, the Big Piney, and you gig them things and you grind them things up to make a patty out of them. And them things are outstanding catfish bait too.
Yep.
They have sucker days in Nixa. It's a big deal. It draws people from all over, and them local guys go down there, and they, like you say, they gig them. They also will build a fire and cook them up right there on the bank at the boat ramp. Lots and lots of nights you'll drive by a lot of these boat ramps on the James River or some of them smaller rivers that drain into Table Rock and some of them southern lakes, and them guys will be sitting out there where they've gigged them up, and man, they're just going to town on them.
There's an effort that's moving forward to rename and re-image Asian carp. And what they're going to do is, like, did you know that Orange Ruffy's real name or name in the past was Slimehead?
No, I did not know that.
That's what it was. It was a Slimehead. So they're trying to do the same thing with Asian carp. And one of the names that comes up is Kentucky Cod.
Kentucky Cod.
That's one of the names that's in the lead right now. So don't be surprised if you start seeing Kentucky Cod in restaurants around the country in the next 5 to 10 years. Hopefully those efforts will pay up, because once you create an industry like that and a need for it, that's probably the only way we're gonna. I don't mean beat them. I mean combat them a little better. So
I did an interview on one of my earlier videos with a fishery biologist, and we were talking about the invasive species. He was flat truthful. He said, "There's no way we will ever get rid of the Asian carp."
No, they screwed that when they allowed them to come in at all.
So they're here to stay.
Yep, that's right.
Side, they are excellent catfish bait too, and you play one of them things out, and I've caught some really nice cats on them things, and you can't hardly throw it when an Asian carp flays off the hook when you throw it too.
That's right. They're great bait, and they have a world of protein for the fish that do eat them. The protein factor in those is really high. It causes the growth rate in catfish to skyrocket. The problem is they grow so fast that they get out of range of what a catfish can actually eat fairly quick. Mm-hmm. But as long as they have 3 or 4 or 5 litters a year, depending on the temperature. So there's pretty much small enough ones for them all the time. We just need more processing plants for them to get rid of the bigger ones and make it worthwhile for the commercial guys to actually go after them.
Well, question for you, Lyle. Since they got the high protein rate and the growth rate, why don't you eat more of them?
I do eat. I have ate them. They're white meat too. Flaky white meat. They're not as good as, in my opinion, as catfish or crappie or bluegill or walleye or some of the fish like that. But there's nothing wrong with them.
It's amazing. Now you'll take one, say a 20-pound Asian carp, and you got this big old fish, and it's amazing how little meat you actually get off of one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's just like using them for bait. The only thing that I use for bait on, because the heads are they're just too big, unless you get a small one. But I cut the tenderloin section out of them. Mm-hmm. And chunk them up, put them in a Ziploc bag, and drain the rest of whatever comes out of it in there, and then toss the rest of them out for turtle bait.
Well, the headpiece is actually on a smaller one. Is actually
the smaller ones.
Favorite bait to use.
I rarely get a small one. I always get the big ones for whatever reason.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen a small one was when we were down there with Abbott at the Kaskaskia. I think Jason and Josh Friday were casting for him, and they got a couple of small ones. But other than that, they were big. Their heads were like the size of Coco's back.
Oh yeah. Here's a fun fact. Paula says that they already served them in Tennessee. I did not know that.
I believe it. I know there's restaurants in New York City that are trying to serve them up too as an alternative.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went by a fish processing plant on our way to North Carolina last weekend, and I'm pretty sure that was a carp processing plant. Now, it was not open when we went through. Now, whether it's open now, closed, I don't know. But it was a fish processing plant, and if I remember correctly, it's in the general area to where that was at. That was made just to process Asian carp, but if they would get the price of them up to where commercial guys could make money harvesting them, there is a huge place for them in China and Vietnam and all those Asian countries. To them, it's great table fare, and they would buy all of it we could get if the commercial guys could make enough money to harvest them and to get them processed and shipped over there, where then people could buy them for a reasonable amount of money.
Whoever figures out how to make that happen is going to be a very wealthy person.
Well, they was working on it, and there's also companies that was trying to produce dog and cat food out of them too. So we'll see.
So speaking of Asian carp, and let's kind of swing this back over to panfish and stuff. Seriously, I heard, and you had mentioned Kentucky Lake, right, and Lake Barkley down there.
Mhm.
I heard fishermen talking about the Asian carp starting to get so bad over there they can't get a bait down to their crappie. No,
It's horrible. Like, you'll go back there, and I fished with a couple guys, like with my brother-in-law year before last, and we were coming in through a cove, and on his graph, it was solid. I mean, literally, it was solid. And when the sun hit the water, the surface was just black with Asian carp. And a lot of guys used to go to Kentucky Dam to snag for spoonbill. A lot of guys don't even go now because you can't work a hook there without snagging one of them dang things. So.
Only a flathead would reproduce that hard.
Woo.
So what kind of plans you got for fishing in the next couple of weeks, Jerry?
Well, if I get a chance, I'm definitely going to try to get on the river, because the river's actually dropping really fast right now. And as soon as this weather warms up, I'm getting over to Kincaid and getting on some of them spawning crappie and try to get a good video out of that, because them crappie, they should be going full bore right now.
So when you're fishing the spawning crappie, are you picking them off one at a time? How far apart are they along the banks and their spawning grounds? What have you learned over time?
Well, the one thing, especially if I'm in my kayak, I start off the bank and just gradually keep throwing closer and closer and closer in. And especially like over Kincaid, if you can find those isolated brush piles, it's hard to tell how many you can pull off one brush pile. But even just one little stick out of the water, I pulled as many 15 crappie off just one little stop sticking out of the water over there.
Yep. And those are mostly females, right? Because the males are up near the shore on the beds, right?
Yes. And then, like I said, we'll just kind of start moving in. Big thing in the crappie over there, too, like, I try really hard to, when I hooked them, when they start getting close to the bank, not to let them thrash around. Because seeing they start thrash around, it scatters them. And you might as well move on down the bank, and then you can come back in about a half hour or so, pick them back up.
Yeah, I do like Richard Jean does and release them on the opposite side of the boat.
Yeah, it's amazing how skittish they can get, especially in Kincaid. Fish the main lake. That lake is extremely, extremely clear, and that's one of the reasons I fished the Johnson arm. It's more of a stained water, and it seems like I can get a lot closer to them, and they're not as skittish.
Yeah, during the spawn, I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody, but I like to think letting the males back is a good thing. Let them finish their job guarding the beds, because those eggs have already been fertilized and stuff. So I kind of try to find where those staged up females are just off the beds, and that seems to work pretty good. And they might be a little spawned out, but they're usually a pretty good size when you can find them. So they make for a great table fare either way.
The same goes for bedding bass. Usually the first one you're going to catch, it's going to be that male.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, especially I've got the chance to observe it a lot in these really, really clear creeks around here. If you pull a bass off a bed, and we're talking within seconds, there's going to be every bluegill, perch, and little sucker minnow is going to be on that bed. And
That's right.
they'll just decimate the population. And the thing that's hurting us over here in a lot of these smaller creeks is a few years ago, you used to never see spotted bass. And now there's spotted bass everywhere in these creeks. And our smallmouth population has really started going down.
I'm just looking at some of the people in chat. Yeah, Jason Lamb mentions that DNR is starting to put alligator gar in the Illinois River. I didn't know they even started that. I know they were talking about that for a while now. So
yeah, I hate to see them bring them back.
doesn't mean I don't want to go to Texas and catch one though, Lyle.
Nope, does not mean that.
Yeah.
But I say leave them down there.
I'm with you on that.
They actually introduced them in Missouri in Duck Creek several years ago.
Yep.
And we were talking about the buffalo and stuff to try to combat the rough fish, as they classified it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy Wade from River Monsters did a show in his Dark Waters program, and he caught one that was pretty fair size. Now, several years ago, actually.
So, it was a different time when we was growing up. But fishermen would always catch them gar and just throw them up on the bank. They wanted rid of them. All fishermen. And pretty much got it done in Missouri, on the Mississippi River and the Missouri River. But now they're trying to bring them back. And I have no idea what the intent is. It's kind of like elk. They was all killed off in these years ago. And now these states are too populated with automobiles to have elk. They would devastate roadways if they was out in there. The insurance companies don't want them. The people don't want them. But the conservation departments are bringing them back for whatever reason. And it'd be the same thing with alligator gar. Nobody up here really wants them. They'll let the guys in Texas, a place like that, have them. It's a great source of income for them guys.
So what other kind of fish would you like to fish for that you haven't yet, Jerry?
Well, we were just talking about alligator gar. I would love to go to Texas and catch a giant alligator gar. That's definitely on my bucket list. I'd like to go to Alaska sometime to do some like salmon fishing.
Kenai River?
Yep, I'd love to do that. I work with a gentleman. He's from that area, and he had showed me some pictures and talked about it, and it looks unbelievable. But Mark, actually, I think you had asked me when I was on your show what my dream trip would be, and I'm thinking now, I'd like to go to the Amazon, to fish for peacock bass, and maybe got some red-tailed catfish.
Red-tails, that's what I'm talking about.
They got both of them in Florida, guys.
But not the size they do on the Amazon.
No. Yeah.
And you don't stay in a houseboat on the Amazon River and take a little boat out and go chase them during the day.
It does look like fun, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I think that'd be a blast. I really do. I think that would. I always thought that I wanted to catch a peacock bass for years until I seen a red tail. And red tails aren't the biggest catfish down there. They're the best looking one of all. They're in my mind.
I disagree.
They're beautiful.
I like them brown and ugly.
Well, I like them too. I like them too. But I think them red tails are just beautiful. But I don't think a flathead's ugly. I think they're gorgeous. And the thing,
they come in so many different color variations.
That's the thing. I was just getting ready to say that there's such a variety of different colors. One place they call them yellow cats because they got a mustard look to them, and the spotted ones and the slick ones that are basically one color. And I mean, there's just a variety of different. Then they're all just amazing looking.
The world of fishing never ceases to amaze me, no matter if we're talking about, red tails, peacock bass, crappie, shellcracker, even Asian carp and buffalo. It's always something pretty cool out there. Mother Nature's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. I agree. Betty says she wants to catch a 10-pound crappie. I hope she gets that done, but I'm going to have to see a picture of that.
I'll get the. I'll know a world record holder.
Wow, 10-pound crappie. That's a huge one. We'll see what she says after we get back from Mendota and she gets into the 20-pound channel cat.
Yeah, big old 20-something pound channel cat. They're a brawler from the time you hook them to you get them in a boat. What?
They are. They're a blast to catch. Jerry, in my mind, for Missouri, if I was just going to go to one of the lakes around here and or even the rivers and try to catch channel cat, I would probably be getting a light action rod and a small bait caster or spinning reel and 10, 15-pound test line on it and probably land any channel cat in the waters that I fish. But when you go up to Mendota, you need something a little stronger than that.
Oh, definitely. I'm taking my Garcia 6500s, and I'm going to
That's right.
spool with 30-pound test.
I do want to, amend that a little bit. Having fished up there just the one time and talking to a lot of guys that fish up there, you want a sensitive tip rod. You want a rod with a fast tip because those channel cats, if they're feeling that pressure right away, especially if you're using braid, not so much mono, but still the case, you want something with a very fast tip. So bring your medium fasts if that's what you have. I've seen a 20-pounder come out of there on an ugly stick that worked really well. So you don't need that big heavy catfish gear that you think you do.
Well, I'm taking a medium action ugly stick and probably take one of my whisker seekers.
You'll be fine with that. Those whisker seekers are probably dead on at least a rod of that caliber and a medium. So I see Brandon came in. What's going on, Brandon?
Stephen Corley.
Stephen Corley came in. What's up, Stephen? I think I saw another name pop in here.
I seen Christina Dunnigan made a comment here a while ago, and I forgot about it, and I want to go back to it. I can't find it, of course, but she said the reason they was bringing the alligator gar back was because they eat Asian carp eggs. I had not heard that. That changes my outlook on things quite a little bit. Because anything that will do decimation to Asian carp, I'm kind of all about.
Well, I think that's the whole deal about these people wanting to breed some of these fish back, or these species that a lot of other people don't agree of. They're trying to restore what they believe the natural balance of things are. But we could get into that argument all day about
absolutely.
It's a long, convoluted thing, and we're already at 9 o'clock. Kyle, we'd be here till midnight,
really
just cracking into it.
Holy crap! It went fast tonight.
It always does, just like it does on those jig tie nights, which we are doing this Saturday, I believe, right, buddy?
I believe so. I'm excited about it. I know that there's going to be 3 or 4 of us in there doing that, and it'll be a lot of fun. I do have another question for Jerry.
Sure.
We got a pretty mutual friend in Mo Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Is his addiction to fly tying got as big as Chad's?
Yeah, it's getting
worse.
It's getting pretty bad. Yeah, he said he was just up at Bass Pro the other day. He said he dropped over $100 just in the fly tying shop. Yeah, and about every day he'll pop something up on my messenger, a new jig he tied, and he's even got the little granddaughter Sophie tying flies too now.
Mm-hmm.
I seen the picture of her and the jig she tied. It looked gorgeous, just as she did, and I was thrilled. There's a lot worse things that these guys can do than tie jigs, and if they want to blame me for it, or their wives want to blame me for it, that's okay, because they're home doing that instead of sitting in a bar doing something they might not ought to supposed to be doing. And it is addictive, and you do spend some money on it. But what do you do in the fishing world that you don't spend money on?
I want to add to this conversation about Rob. I happen to know that he's working on a setup consisting of fluid beds, melting pots, a whole box of molds that he, I think, made some bids on. I think it's a little worse. Chad's got it bad, but I think Rob's really got it bad.
When
That's
Rob
good.
does something, he goes into it full
Good
bore,
for us, though.
100%.
It is.
We're going to
is.
have a supplier for jig heads, I think, in addition to who are
And that's
we already
great.
have.
I'm all over that. He has a supply of something else. He's going to bring me up to Mendota. I'm anxious for that too.
I heard about that. Yep, he's bringing me some of that too. We won't mention that on the family show. We'll talk about that on our adult night when we're tying jigs.
Jerry, thank you so much for coming in to show with us tonight. We've had a blast having you on here.
Hey, before we go, I do need to remind people of a couple of things, Lyle,
Sure.
if I can. I made the post on the Panfish Nation group. Post your panfish pictures. If you're looking up at Lyle's screen, which is over here, you see the backdrop. I'm going to be making a new one, and the pictures with the most votes are going to get added to that, and you'll be on the show every week in the background if that's what you like. We got a few people on there, but I know you people can post a lot more. And here's a hint. People love kids, and so do we. So if you got your kids on some panfish, get them on there. You might be a ringer. So
and we will periodically change the images on those.
We will.
That background. So
we definitely will, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, as the nation grows, we'll have some other incentives for people to take part in it. But all that stuff's in the work.
Betty gets that 10-pound crappie, though. I'm afraid it's going to have to go up there.
Oh yeah.
I'll put her right over that guy up in the corner with the red shirt on.
Yeah, wherever it needs to be. 10-pound crappie. That's about 6 pounds bigger than the biggest one.
We'll change the name of the show we'll change the name of the show to Betty Nation for the week if that happens.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chrissy. We did have a fun show tonight. I appreciate it. Jerry, what do you got coming up that you can tell us about in the near future?
Well, I'm gonna try to get a few more catfish videos. I didn't start doing anything as far as YouTube until it was almost September last year. So I'm gonna get a few more catfish videos. Definitely gonna have some more quick videos and stuff. And I'm got a wide variety of stuff we're gonna plan. Hopefully we get Mendota. We'll get some good video up there.
Tell everybody where they can see your videos and how they can get in touch with you.
What was that, Lyle?
Tell everybody where they can see your videos and how they can get in touch with you.
You guys can go to Parker Pursuits on Facebook or Parker Pursuits on YouTube. And we try really hard to do at least a weekly video. So got all kind of new stuff coming up. So looking forward to seeing everybody. And if you guys haven't subscribed to these two gentlemen,
thank you, sir.
Stuff.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it a lot. We had a great show with you tonight. Mark, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, go buy my merch, people. I got merch for sale. Go over to the Catfish and Crappie Facebook page. You'll see the little video ad on there. I'm going to have some good stuff. But it closes May 4th. So if you want it, everybody was bothering me for it. Now I'm finally selling it. So here's your chance, people.
Thank you, D. All right. I think that'll do us for tonight. Mark and I will be along with possibly James Dockery and the jig tying fool Chad Fields Saturday night, and then Monday Catfish Weekly and Catfish and Crappie Show. What are you calling it Monday night?
It's the Catfish and Crappie podcast, but I got a big guest. I'm having the one and only River Certified Spencer Brower on Monday, people. So
Spencer's a great guest. You guys will have a blast.
I think me and Spencer are going to have a good time Monday night, and hopefully everybody in chat will too. So,
oh yeah, Spencer's a great guest. Thank you guys again. Thanks a lot, Parker Pursuits, for joining the show tonight, and we will see everybody Saturday night. Thanks,
Jerry.
Thanks for